Broadcast is live. We're
There we
live.
are.
Cool. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode or a chat of Aperture Insights with me. I'm Jordan Gelber. I'm the CEO and founder of Aperture, a brand new network and content pipeline helping independent content creators get access to big box distributors and get their projects made. And today I am with one of the very amazing people behind our OTT platform, Aperture. There's Stephen Wilkes from Endavo. Endavo is our big tech partner with Aperture. They are the amazing developers behind OTT, and there are multiple reasons why we decided to work with them. But I'm going to let Stephen do an intro about himself, and then we can get into it.
Thanks, Jordan, and pleasure to be here. Hello, everyone. And as Jordan mentioned, Stephen Wilkes. I am the Director of Client Success here at Endavo Media. As Jordan mentioned, we are the technology platform behind Aperture, and we are looking forward to discussing with you guys today, answering some questions, going over to talking about OTT, and really how creators like yourselves can benefit from using OTT, what is OTT, and how you can utilize a platform like Endavo Media.
Great. So thank you so much for being here. One of the main reasons I wanted to do something about OTT was that I wrote this lovely little thing. I'm going to pull it up. So every creator is trying to be seen on the major streaming networks, but don't have any clue when it comes to OTT. And chances are, whether you realize it or not, you engage with OTT networks on a daily basis. One of the best ways to leverage your content as independent content creators, specifically independent series content creators, is to dive into the world of OTT. And this week we're chatting, of course, with Stephen, and he is an OTT developer. And whether you know it or not, independent content creators out there, if you're looking to be on Netflix, Hulu, and sometimes upload your stuff on YouTube, those are all versions of OTT platforms. So I think to get started, I'm just going to give kind of like a brief idea of what OTT is, because many people are probably like, what do you mean by OTT? OTT means over the transom. I'm not going to get in that boring topic, or over the top, whatever you want to call it. But just to be very specific in terms of real world explanations is wow, that was really complicated. OTT is this, that if you watch Netflix, Netflix is an OTT network. It's a streaming network that's on multiple devices, but it's on digital devices. If you watch Hulu, Hulu's an OTT network. If you watch on your Roku, Roku is a smart device that houses OTT networks. So I like to think of it as Roku's like a shopping mall, and all these little widgets are channels on Roku, but they're networks. I love how all the different devices have different names for the networks, but in plain sentences, OTT networks are widgets where you watch streaming content. So you can watch it on your phone, you can watch it on your computer. It's a streaming website. You can watch it on your smart TV. You can watch it on your iPad or your tablet. Those are smart devices that you can watch OTT networks on. And if you are making content right now, you're probably trying to get on one of the leading streaming platforms. But yeah, so Stephen, what is OTT?
You covered it well there, Jordan. I mean, really, and as you mentioned, OTT or over the top, delivering a service like a Netflix. You mentioned Hulu, Disney Plus. They're all OTT services that are delivered over the internet. So it is not the traditional. You need a cable or internet. You just need the internet to be able to access these services. No longer the dish or cable provider is necessary to have your packaged content together or media together in a package. So OTT allows you to distribute a service over someone else's network, the internet, to your end users, and all in the world allows you to charge for that service, right? So Netflix, obviously being the big one, really the first one out there with charging a subscription fee to access their library of media and watch their service online. That's at its core. It's really about delivering a service over the internet to the end user without needing a cable or subscription service overall.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start with Netflix, because every time someone comes to me for help with distribution, the first thing they say is, I want to be on Netflix. They can't tell me why they want to be on Netflix. They just know Netflix exists. Yeah, I think a lot of people out there might be wondering, like, why am I talking to a developer about a network when I just want to be on the network? And I think it's really important that no different that when you're making a film, if you're a director, you might not know all the details of your cinematographer, but you want to be aware of what they're doing because they're part of your journey of success. And I think what's important is to understand all the tools and all the people behind these places that you're trying to connect with, because the more you know, the more prepared you are when you have these questions for these people. So like, for example, you mentioned a subscription model. Many people might not realize there's different kinds of OTT platforms. There are different ways that people make money on OTT platforms. Like, for example, Aperture, the way that we make money is right now we're a free platform. So we don't charge any subscription fee. We make money on ad revenue, which we can get into in a little bit. But also there are other ways that OTT platforms make money, like people can host channels, you can get sponsorships. Because they're applications, it makes it really malleable to have a lot of success. The power of having your own OTT platform or your own channel with an OTT platform, like if you, like a network like mine having your own channel, for example, the power behind it is you get to have more control. So if you think about what YouTube was like, right, like 10 years ago when it started, it had the same excitement, but now it's become this behemoth that I think a lot of content creators don't get the benefits that they think they're going to get. So I think a great place to start is, what are the different kinds of OTT platforms?
I mean, there's the platform itself, right? So you're looking at services that are offered over the top. I mean, platform where you're delivering that to. So your platforms, Endavo is technically a platform, right? We allow you as a content creator to upload video to a platform and to distribute to your OTT services. So we refer to all of our our services and what we help build our clients' sites and apps with is web apps. So that's the website that is built and structured around your content, your branding, your images. All that gets uploaded to a platform, and that platform, like Endavo, helps you distribute that content to Roku, to Apple TV, to iOS, to Android, to other services that are delivered using the internet. Endavo has a lot of different capabilities from a technology side. We're really the content management piece behind that. And then we have our relationships with those programs and platforms to deliver apps that are your own branded apps to those devices. So Roku, like you mentioned, and Aperture has the website. You have Roku channel. You have iOS and different applications that are all delivered over the top or OTT, and allows you to control how you kind of interact, the community around it, your brand with it, and allows you to really focus on engaging with your users around your brand. YouTube's great from streaming, right? It's been in the leading streaming platform. But as you mentioned, it's starting, you can see that, you kind of get diluted in YouTube itself, right? You can get easily taken away from your content. Someone else's content can appear on the player, and then users are taken away. So OTT and using your own OTT platform allows you to control your engagement with your users, allows you to interact with your users. There's different ways that a platform like Endavo can help you do that. But it's really what you're trying to do with the content and what you're trying to do with your brand. Because there's great content that's used specifically just for social media, and you want to post that there. But if you're trying to build, your OTT business and really trying to generate revenue with content, you do have different options of what OTT allows you. Like we mentioned already, a subscription service. Jordan, you mentioned advertising as an option. Obviously YouTube is done for the advertising model. Have to have a certain number of subscribers and minimum hours that are uploaded. But all of those, they allow you as getting eyeballs and content or eyeballs to your content. Great revenues to, opportunities to bring in people to watch that, and then really where you're trying to engage with them later down the road.
Yeah, and I think that the engagement piece is what people are most excited about, because a lot of people, in the creator side, right, it's that we make content and then we submit the content to festivals and hope, like Catalyst, which is amazing. But Catalyst is one of the rare places where you actually get connected to the place that you're trying to distribute, because they bring, representatives from different networks and different production companies, et cetera, to the festival. But for those people that just submit, maybe can't attend the festival, or just submit and maybe don't get to meet anybody, they're hoping that someone sees it and then someone will pick it up. But for so long, you're constantly submitting and not taking advantage of a lot of the relationships. That's why we're so excited about working with Catalyst, because we're able to show them like there are multiple ways to success, and our whole mission is to get people to become successful. So why should independent content creators look to someone like Endavo for help if they're trying to get on a bigger platform? I think you mentioned previously, or maybe another time you spoke to me about the fact that Endavo has options for independent creators to have channels, and not in a similar way to YouTube, but be able to have their own thing? Like, why should they go to Endavo, for example, versus YouTube, and how can people see them because on the Endavo channels?
Yeah, and really, when you say Endavo channels, it's really the content creators channels. We are the tools behind the channel that they create. It's their branding, it's their content, their images that are uploaded. So really, for us, we help our creators and our partners control their brand and allow them to build out their apps for their audience. That's really where building a community around your passionate users, allows you to interact with them. We provide different tools and services and capabilities that allow users to monetize content. Everything. When you're talking OTT, you can talk. Is it video on demand OTT content? Are you doing live events like we're doing now? Pushing a stream and people are logging on right away. Are you selling tickets to these events? Film festivals is a great example. We've worked with a lot of film festivals that will do a multi-day event. They put their content up there. They can now stream, and especially since COVID had taken over the last couple of years, a lot of festivals have gone online. There seem to be more now getting back into the in-person, but they've also now have a digital presence where they're offering multi-day passes. They're streaming their content and pushing it to a website or applications where their users can purchase a ticket and watch virtually online. So Endavo can provide a tool for those types of events, pay-per-view access as well for those tickets and generating revenue, allows clients and our customers to kind of set their business model and work within their business model to determine how they want to generate revenue for their business. And you mentioned sometimes you want to just have free content out there to market your services, or maybe it's to show a film that you really want to get out to the masses. We allow you different options. It's your control. We're just the technology behind it and the partner that works with you to allow you to control where you want that content to get to. We do have opportunities and options to distribute to some of our network partners and other online networks that have been built with our platform. Others, working with us allows you to also get in with our network of distribution partners too. But when you're talking with Endavo and building applications or building out your OTT service, it really is about your brand still. Controlling the users, the eyeballs that are there, and they click on a video or they're watching here, and you're not clicking off to something else. And if they are, the next video that comes up, it's one of your videos that are there, right? The next episode up, if it's episodic content, really using the ability to keep your users engaged around your content. Content's going to keep them there, and then engage with those users through different events and subscriptions, or maybe there's premium content you want to offer or only provide for users on your apps that perhaps you push content to YouTube and other platforms that you want to promote socially, but really driving it back to your home base or for your community to interact with them, provide different levels of service, premium services for those subscribers per se.
That's awesome. I think you made a good point about the exclusivity and having exclusive content and kind of distributing everywhere. The reason why I thought it was so important to talk about OTT today, aside from the fact that I think it's important for people to know that you're trying to get on an OTT platform, you should understand how it works. It's also that we are living in a world now where transmedia is so prevalent as a solution for marketing. So like, let's say you have a show, then it's important to maybe have a podcast about that show. And maybe if the podcast has like a behind the scenes mini show or mini vlog that's on like your YouTube or something. There's so many different avenues to create content. And I think going to what you were mentioning about building a community, it's really about having an epicenter that you control so you can have those live events. So let's say that you guys want to host a live interview, no different than this, where you want to host it on your own OTT channel, saying, oh, today we're going to interview the director of our project and this is why we made it. Or maybe you want to launch a crowdfunding campaign and you don't want to necessarily just keep putting it on YouTube because you're going to get lost. YouTube's going to eat your traffic. So maybe you put like a teaser that says, click this link for the full video. It takes you to your streaming network and then you can have it, even different than Vimeo, which we should probably also talk about. But I think that for me, I like knowing that even if I didn't have a network, but I wanted to have like my own Jordan channel, like I try to influence, right? I hate using that term, but I try to be an influencer sometimes to at least educate people. Instead of having my own YouTube channel, because it's so hard to build a YouTube channel from scratch now, even with all the vidIQ, Tubi, SEO help. And if you guys don't know what that is, everyone out there should be learning about the marketing behind YouTube, just like with social media. I think it's important to recognize the fact that with OTT networks, you can drive traffic to that. You can build marketing and aggregation to build your audience and keep them engaged in a way that won't get diluted. So I think that it's unique to know that I could wake up tomorrow, have a channel, have a podcast, put it on my own platform, put little snippets on social media, and drive all the traffic to one place. No different than I'm hoping to do with major networks, right? Why do you think content creators should take an interest in OTT?
Well, I think what you're seeing now is a shift from traditional broadcast television, and the term OTT, not everyone's adopted yet, but it's been out there for years. It's just kind of how services are delivered over streaming. That's really where things are shifting from the traditional advertising dollars are being shifted from the traditional broadcast and satellite providers onto the streaming networks. These services are being popped up from Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, all these, Amazon, Prime. All these are having OTT services. So getting your content really starts with your content, a creator's content, building out their brand to then get more exposure and have the ability to be, to sell their content or showcase their content. We love having, we compete in certain levels on YouTube and Vimeo, but we also work with them closely by having tools that can interact with YouTube and Vimeo by distributing content to those places, right? Putting playlists and media on there. So we work closely with them. You need to have the eyeballs, and right now on those on those platforms and social media as well, Facebook and others, you have tools that can allow you to push content from our platform to those social networks to promote, and then still want to drive back. So having an OTT platform, getting on OTT is really, again, it's going to come back to controlling your content, interacting with your audience, having your brand, and that experience for your users, what you can provide for them around your brand, and what you can do to really engage with them at your level. So it allows you some flexibility of being on OTT to build new apps and create new content specific for those platforms. But it really is a tool where allows you to be a little more flexible than perhaps in the past, and that's it covers that.
Yeah, I think, a couple of years ago, the big thing that everyone wanted, they wanted that high maintenance story. So high maintenance was one of the first shows greenlit on Vimeo and then got bought up by HBO. And everyone really, at least including myself, wanted to have that success story, right? We make a short form digital series, a couple of different episodes, and that gets put on a site like Vimeo that people go to, or YouTube. And then someone's going to see it and they're going to pick it up and make it. And that's really hard now because it's so oversaturated. I think that people not knowing before they could have their own OTT channel, or they could have access to more micro networks, which I know you guys build a lot of, to really build that following to say, hey, look, my stuff's here, it's actually distributed and it's accessible. I think that is the key word for a lot of people. When they think of, when people come to me about like, what should I look for in an OTT platform, or what should I look at a network that I want to work with? The first thing I tell them is accessibility. Right? So we talk about Roku and Apple TV and Fire TV and iOS and Android, et cetera, and some of the gaming consoles as well. The reason why it's important to know about all of these is accessibility. So a lot of people have asked me also about Quibi, like, why do I think Quibi failed? I have a lovely little philosophy on Quibi, which is Quibi limited themselves of their accessibility for the end user. So I know that I had a show I was working with a couple of years ago, and their big question was to a network that they were previously working on was just like, how can people in Europe see my content, or in Asia see my content? How can they access it on your network? And if that network doesn't have easy access in other places, you're not going to get bigger viewership. And if they're not actively marketing the content they're representing, specifically a lot of these big networks that people want to get on, like when people talk to me about getting on Netflix, do you want to be a part of a library of other projects? No, you want to be a Netflix original that they put all the marketing dollars behind. It's like, how do you make that your kind of show? And I think a great way to do that is already acting like you've done that, and with having your own OTT channel now, or having your own content creator channel and having it accessible on Roku and all these other I always think that Roku's a great start. Roku's been doing a lot. They bought all the Quibi content. I really support what they've been doing for independent creators. But it's important to see, like, how many places can people access this network? Is it only on Roku? Is it only on YouTube? Is it only on, it's only on streaming network? If it's only a streaming network, it's a website, chances are it's not good for you in the long run, because you want people you want commuters to be watching it on the subway, which we all know that's why Quibi did what they did, but they didn't allow you to Chromecast. So it's like, also, how else can people see it? How easy it is to see. And I think people don't think of always of the end user, and the end user is your fan base and your desired audience. So a great way to maximize it is OTT, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, even though you mentioned, you don't want to just have the web presence or just a website, but it's a great place to start.
Oh,
Right?
100%. I wasn't
As creators, you got to start somewhere, and you have everything. You might be a limited amount on YouTube or limited on Facebook, but really, when you're starting out, you want to build out that site, and that's really the first place. And now, sites are mobile friendly, so they do format well on the mobile phone, so users can sit there and watch it. Internet, their network on the train or wherever they're commuting from on their phones and devices. So really, for us, when we're talking with creators, it's getting them started. It's trying to get them to really believe in their content if they have enough content, and it's really starting with their library of videos. It might be one series of content. It might be like you said, there's just a blog that they have, and now they're doing video of that podcast, and now they're starting out, but really starting with that site, right? Starting with a home base where your users can you can engage with them, and then expanding into really the OTT platforms, right? Building up a channel, building up your content, and then taking that and building a Roku channel, building Apple TV and distributing to Apple TV as well, your channel on Apple TV or Amazon Fire, as well as of course iOS and Android with those platforms as well. So biggest thing is really, I think there's a lot of that misconception that's tough to get started. We have this content, we're just submitting videos to these sites. They don't want to necessarily take their content direct to the public, direct to consumers. And really with OTT, you have the ability now to take it direct to consumer. You can set prices, you can charge for access, you can determine what your content's worth by starting your own channel. And you can determine, hey, is there any success on the social media sites? YouTube, I've gotten millions and millions of views as it gone viral. Where really, it gives you the flexibility, but you really have to get started. And the site's definitely the best place to get started, and then grow from there as you expand your content library. Allows you to build up your eyeballs. You can start to see your data analytics, how it's performing, and then continue to expand into the OTT apps as well.
Yeah, sorry. Endavo makes everything mobile friendly. That's what I know. You guys are a developer first, but I think a lot of other.
You're quite all right. Everything's it's good. You don't apologize for any of that. Just most sites now, and it's not just us. It's really across the board. So many people are using their phones and devices to watch content that it changed over the last 4, 5, even 6 years. That sites had to be mobile friendly because people weren't on the PCs, people weren't on their Macs. They're all consuming content on the phones. I have kids, and I have 2 kids, and both of them would much rather be sitting there on their phones watching content, whether it's Netflix or whether it's Disney Plus or whether it's just pulling up YouTube, than they would go to a bigger screen or even sit on a computer. So industry and people and eyeballs, everybody has shifted to mobile. And then, for us, OTT delivering to those other platforms like a Roku, Apple TV, it's getting that content back to the bigger screens, right? Having those on the devices for users to watch across the board. So we and other platforms and site designers as well had to adapt to be able to basically format to provide a better service, better quality for users to consume their content, interact with audiences, and be engaged with them.
Yeah, I think it's important for I know that a lot of independent creators, when they have like a website for their content, they don't always check to make it mobile friendly, specifically my Wix users out there. I know this being a Wix user myself, that sometimes forgets to do that, but I think it's important that everyone should check that their site, even if it's not a streaming platform, if you're hosting like a link from YouTube, that your site is mobile friendly, because you never know who's watching it. But going back to what you said about starting somewhere, I think that's right. Like, you need to start somewhere. I love that things are Chromecastable, like I said, but having a place where you can build an audience. So going back to the model I was saying before, Vimeo, and even like Broad City with YouTube, the reason why those projects got made is because they were able to prove with analytics their audience reach and what they were converting in a certain period of time. And now that these places are a bit oversaturated, having your own channel your own streaming site. Like a lot of production companies out there, I know there are plenty of creators out there who like, I have multiple series. I have 4 films and 3 series. I have a series and a short film and a feature film or a trailer. Like getting your own streaming site and putting, investing in that as a marketing resource for yourself, I think is so important because you can keep adding to it. Now you have a place where like, not only can you keep adding to it, but you have the ability to then also put it up on these other platforms without the headache of worrying if someone else is going to buy it. And then you could say, when you pitch a lot of these network creators, which is what we do, is, hey, by the way, I'm already getting viewership. Look what I've done. Look at the audience that's already invested in me and my idea and my team and my fandom. I think that's really important to showcase because it goes back into taking your career in your own hands. The more proactive that you are, I think the more respect of big box industries like the Netflixes of the world and like the Hulus and Disney Pluses and Paramount Pluses and all the other pluses. I think it's important to really, show the steps that you've taken to be more proactive about your career. And I think technology is the future of entertainment. So that's why I'm a huge fan of OTT. But yeah. All right. Another question. If anyone is out there and has questions, please ask questions. We are here for the questions. So I know you mentioned briefly what Endavo is, but Endavo as a whole, what is Endavo and how does Endavo work with creators? Like, what's the process?
Sure. So, I mean, as I mentioned before, I mean, Endavo is a technology platform. We provide solutions and services for, our clients and partners to build with their content and their brand, build web apps, mobile applications, OTT applications like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. How do we work with them? Our platform, we have anything from free trials to download or to sign in and sign up for a service to multi, platform that allows you to create your own multi-channel network. So we provide the ability for users to take video on demand, have subscription services, rentals, pay-per-view for live events, virtual live events, which are essentially recorded media that you can schedule to play out at a certain time. So right now we're live. I mean, it's here. We're at 5:30 on the East Coast right now. I'm in Atlanta, but talking live with you. But there's virtual live, which we could have pre-recorded this. We could have set it to play at 5 o'clock and had our audience, jump on and look like we're actually, live with the audience and interacting with them. But there's different options of getting content into the system, uploading videos, managing and scheduling your content out, and then wrapping business models around that, right? Our creators and partners use the platform in a variety of ways. So just because Netflix is doing a subscription model doesn't mean that a subscription model might be right for you. Just because there's an advertising model doesn't mean it's right for you. But we're really trying to help our users and partners figure out what's best for them and their content, and then delivering that service and finding the best way for users to monetize their content. So it might be that it starts off as a free service and users are just building up their library and want to get the eyeballs to their site and doing promotion and marketing. They have the ability to push content from our platform out to social sites of Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, even Vimeo as well, that they want to generate and just do some more marketing and promotion on those sites and drive eyeballs back to build up their audience. And maybe that they have we talked about already a film festival, right? And they want to get more users in from across the world, not just local in New York or California or festivals in LA or Atlanta. Done festivals all over the world for digital, where you can get anybody from anywhere in the world to buy a ticket and put the screenings up and watch the videos online like you're there, right? You don't have the red carpet, but you have the premieres of these videos that are being shown. Same thing on music, right? Live events, concerts can be streamed. You have to have the camera and the equipment to do it. But if you want to control that and push it to your network, right, your OTT channel, we have the tools that allow you to do that. So we're not in the production side of content. We're really the technology side and the solution to help you get your users on the site, on the app, build those apps with you for them to watch the content, and then really help you get your users engaged with content, and as well as you can do some different social interactions with them during live events. And I know right now we've got a chat going.
Yeah, we have
There's other things we've done before where we've done an integration with Zoom where we've done a couple festivals that have done the basically watch a clip or a block of video, and then at the end of that they would run and talk with the directors of those videos. And so we'd cut away and they go on to Zoom and they'd be able to interact and have a festival and to talk with the directors, answer questions personally. Other ones like this, doing live on StreamYard, pushing the content to StreamYard and talk with your audience as well. There's lots of flexibility with it, what you want to do with it. We give you a lot of tools to be able to control your content, to be able to control the schedule, whether it's episodic in nature, whether you want to build out channels of content based on genre or categories. Really gives a lot of flexibility, for our users and creators out there.
Awesome. Well, let's open this amazing question that we got going on. So Hans says, what do you recommend to people who are not familiar with OTT? To whom would you recommend they look for leadership or advice before taking steps? Well, you can ask Aperture. We're here to advise you, but that's a side note. But yeah, no, go ahead, take that. That's all you, Stephen.
All right. Well, I mean, I'd say go. Aperture would be a great place to start. Certainly, I'll use your answer. But I think people just OTT, over the top, right? It's gaining popularity, that term, right? It's been around, in the past. It really is streaming media, right? But it's different of controlling a service over the top of someone's network. Not familiar. Who would recommend? There's lots of different, platforms, social groups. I think we probably could look at, LinkedIn would have different chats available in groups to jump on. Searching up just the term OTT and Google it, you can find a variety of different links in there, and basically, allows you to, get some more information. Again, Aperture, if you want to reach out to Endavo Media, we're happy to have discussions with you if you're looking for services or just general information as well. We're always open to discussing and educating people on what is over the top, what you're looking for. But there's also different festivals and things around that are all involved with OTT as it's becoming much more popular these days.
Yeah, and I'll also piggyback off of that. So one reason why we really want to make sure we did one of our Aperture Insights with the Endavo team is because we're very passionate about educating content creators. We want to make sure that you're as well informed as possible what happens to your career as you develop your content and share it with the world. So I may or may not, if enough people reach out to me, do an what is OTT course and on Aperture. So I'll let everyone know. And of course, Catalyst will probably be part of that in some way, shape, or form. But I think a really great way to understand it is, look up OTT, talk to people like Endavo who are very free with their information. Endavo is probably one of the leading resources in terms to education on OTT and how people can utilize it, what it is, what are the functions operationally, all the information about it. I also think that another great way to get leadership is working with someone like Aperture, where our whole purpose is like helping people get on platforms, not just the big ones. We also have the ability to work with a lot of the platforms that Endavo creates that are similar to Aperture, but are mostly just streaming sites looking to build their library and increase their outreach. So we are 100% prepared to help anybody break into OTT or understand more as they work with us for development. That was a great question, though. If you have another question, feel free to reach out. We got plenty of time. So, yeah, I think another area to kind of jump in. If I can find my questions, but I totally lost them now. That's fine. Yeah, I totally lost my question. But there are so many big networks out there. But what do you think is a great way for people to find out about micro networks? I think micro networks are really powerful right now, especially because they're so niche specific many times. Like I know that Endavo had like Fanbolt, which I work with a lot, or Footprint and other things. There's another great question, but I'll finish this question, then we'll do that question. Okay. What is a great way for people to find and discover really high quality micro networks?
Well, I mean, I think you see different networks popping up. I mean, you mentioned a couple that we work with, Footprints and Network, that's a multi-channel network. And really, a micro network or a multi-channel network, it's really about the content you're consuming. So I think you're going to see more and more popping up, and especially as the content you like to watch, you're going to see more of these networks that are going to be maybe aggregating more of that content together. But usually start with some of the sites you're watching on, similar content, and see how that's evolving, what the recommendation engines are suggesting after that point, right? And trying to see that content. It might be that some of them are your YouTube feed or Facebook feed, the reels that they have that it's related content in cases. But I think you're going to see as more and more people want to control their content, building that community, you're going to find more smaller communities that are going to want to interact with those audiences and that are passionate about their content, and that will go across multiple industries and can really dive in a little bit more on like a specific topic that you're going to see these popping up because more content, more video content's being created. Users are finding other ways, whether it's OTT or other solutions to put content out there, and I think you're going to start to see more kind of aggregating together. That you're going to find some micro networks are being built up with other similar content.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to going on LinkedIn, something like that, and looking up OTT. You'll find and discover a lot of OTT developers like Endavo, but Endavo is the best, or a lot of micro networks that really will be like Footprint or Aperture or something like that. Hans is another great question. Are there any mistakes you've seen people make in taking too bold a step? I'm remembering how certain content festivals have requirements about things not having been available in different ways. What a good question. So, I would say that the big thing is that with a lot of festivals, they don't want you to be screened in other places. I think that after you've done a certain amount of content, festival rounds, maybe put it up, or maybe have a private network where you can invite certain people and tell people that it's accessible to you could do the subscription model. You can make it you could make it a free subscription, but people have to subscribe to have access to it, or you can make to make it accessible for only certain people. I don't know, Stephen, if you have your thoughts on that. I can pull the question back up.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay, I got it. I with content festivals, I think I don't know across all the board. We've had a lot do festivals over our platform. The one thing I think that I see is from more of a concern about only having limited time for the content to be up, not taking that bold enough step to actually keep the content up or decide to go out on your own a little bit with selling access to that content. Different festivals have different rights and publication windows, and they all come back to the, really back down to the content creator. But taking too bold, it's really, to me, is not being bold enough on some of that. Being, just providing a video to a festival, and then just letting them have control for that week is to me, or 2 weeks or a month, whatever it might be. I think you need to get more bold and say, okay, my content is worth it, and trying to really jump into it more and seeing if you can generate revenue, whether it's a rental, whether it's a subscription service. You have different options. There's so many options out there for monetizing content. That really, I think you're seeing that some are just giving up control of their content and being for that set time, as opposed to taking it back, say, okay, I want to release this on my own, and reach out to how it will perform in the audience they're too focused on the bigger houses and networks. So I want to get it on Netflix right away. There's so many thousands and millions of pieces of content they're trying to screen or submit. You got to start getting bold and actually starting your network, starting your channel, seeing if there's an audience for it, and driving traffic back from social sites, and really marketing yourself, marketing your brand out there of that. So I don't know if they're too bold, but go ahead, you jump in.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a huge issue that we see on our side for content creators that try to work with Aperture is that a lot of the time they've just made it, and then they're hoping to have it produced when they haven't done enough, in my opinion, marketing material creation. They haven't done things to go beyond just I made this. People today, and I can say this very bluntly, working in other industries, they want to connect the person at the top. They want to see everything that you're doing. They want to see that you're talking about the things that you know about. They want to see that you're getting interviewed about it. They want to see that you're being proactive about putting your face out there so people know that you're the expert in your space. Well, you need to be the expert of your own content. You need to understand the world or industry you're trying to jump into. So you should be taking more advantage of making more content. I think I agree. It's about not being bold enough. Are you creating social media? Are you creating other content? If you had your own channel, it would be a great incentive to make more content. If the project is done and you want to maybe put that on private and only show it to certain people because of the restrictions with a lot of the festivals, that's a great opportunity for you to talk about like why you made it. It goes back to the transmedia option. Like it goes a great way to be like bringing people to that. Well, why don't you come see my channel? If you're on your phone right now, you can download it, or you can go to our mobile friendly app. Then you can see all this great content we've built around it and really drive traffic with social media. And that should encourage you to build out your social media, because I know that a lot of projects that have come to me also were made a few years ago. So they're like, I haven't done anything since then, or I've done new stuff since then. Well, then talk about the fact that you made this great project, but you're a prolific content creator, because they don't want to just see this one project that you did. You want to have a long-lasting, sustainable career. And the best way to show a sustainable career is show how prolific you are as a content creator and show how many things that you've been working on. It doesn't have to always be a massive project. It could be as simple as hosting an interview with one of your influences or one of the people that you want to work with and talking about why you made it. Talk with the writer about what the issues were. There's so many ways to make content nowadays. To me, there's no excuse to not be bold enough. And that's how I feel about that. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I think the questions coming though. There's some good questions there. So.
Cool. Any more questions? Bring them on board. We're here to chat away about this. But yeah, I think a lot of these networks, they're being constantly overspammed with creators saying, "Oh my God, look at my thing." But if I know that if someone went to me and said, "Hey, I have this project, we have this many views," like I know that we still count YouTube views because YouTube still has weight, right? But a lot of people that they haven't started a YouTube channel, they don't have those views. So how can stand out? You can have a wonderful story. Well, be proactive. Make yourself an OTT channel. We'll put it up on a streaming platform. Put it up on a device. Be like, hey, you can watch if you're not sure what to watch this weekend. You could download my streaming platform. Here are 5 projects that I made the last 6 years or whatever, 10 years, and just check it out. I mean, I know it might seem like a lot, but it shows that you're proactive about your career by bringing the audience to you. And most platforms today are trying to find the best ways that you can increase their audience base. So by proving that you already have a baked-in audience is a wonderful way to show the power that you have as a creator and a marketer and a storyteller. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? We got like almost 15 more minutes left. So let's see. What are some other things? What are some mistakes people make with OTT that you have seen?
In our side, I think the biggest one is trying not keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a big believer in keeping it simple. Right? It's a get started, start with a business model. It may fail, but you can try something else, right? Mm-hmm. It may not work right away. It may be that you need more time and you're thinking, okay, this should be, go viral in 3 months, right? Getting out too quick. But really for me, it's overcomplicating for the end user. I think the biggest mistake we see is that they want to be able to have subscribers. They want to be able to have rentals on their site. They want to have advertisements on their site. There are 3 different business models that trying to wrap them all in one can be really confusing for your audience, right? If you pick a model, your business, and how you can support that, whether it's a subscription that's going to have a lot of content there, or maybe it's live events that you want to just sell tickets to on a weekly release every Friday or every Wednesday or Wednesday and Friday or something like that scheduled. But it's really, I think, keeping it simple is a good principle for getting your OTT service started. And it might just be, hey, I need to start with some free content. I'm going to start promoting my brand. I got these videos that I've worked on or movies that I made or the series that I've got 4 or 5 episodes. and starting to test the waters, right? Find out your audience, you grow your audience, and then you can see, okay, I need to have a subscription service, or I want to test, and just over complicating for your audience, so you're not being, you're changing it up all the time. That's one of the biggest mistakes. Is I think someone wants to throw 4 different business models at it at once, and it can really be confusing for the end user. And that user is important to you. It's their eyeballs coming to your site. You're getting information, from them to build and market to, and getting confusing business model for them can be, turn them off from your content. But I think keeping it simple, picking a business model you want to run with, talking with, advising, with Aperture or others, and just understanding what you're trying to build out and grow your channel and what's needed for that. But mistakes would be, overcomplicating for your end user, and too many clicks for things, you just kind of lose interest.
Yeah, 100%. I think simplicity is key. You don't always have to make it so crazy. And I also get that on my end as well. Speaking of, I think a great kind of segue is to really discuss like how Endavo and even Aperture works together. And I think a great way to say that is, I keep saying a great way. I'm like so great today. I am exhausted. Steven and I, we're like crazy people. But if you are someone out there that would like to either promote their project in a bigger way and get seen by either having your own channel or working with someone like Aperture to help distribute your channel, distribute your projects with networks like the ones that are on Endavo, I think a great way to do that is to reach out to Endavo or Aperture. You can find us at aperture.tv or endavo.com, right? It's .com.
Endavomedia.com, yeah.
Endavomedia.com. And we can work together. Like, so what Endavo does, they do all the tech stuff. And if you need any help with design and marketing stuff, that's what our side's about. But a lot of you out there, I know, have worked very hard creating the best posters and thumbnails and artwork for stuff. So you're probably already ahead of the game when it comes to the possibilities or the time it would take to have a launch of an OTT channel. But for those that want to work with you and find out more about you, what is the best way to get a hold of somebody, and what should they mention when they're submitting to Endavo?
So for us, go into the website, endavomedia.com. We have a free trial that's up there, and you can get started with your own platform. It launches basically a web app. You can upload content. It's free for 30 days. Try it out. Schedule your content. And that will get you into our system essentially and help you register with us. So from that point, you can upload your video. Our team will see the activation, and that's really just registration, right? Fill out some key fields, and you start your own trial account with that. Test out the platform, test out the service, build your own web app with it, and then if you want to continue on the service and use for your OTT business, our team's going to be here to help you every step of the way. So we have a client success team involved, support team involved, and our tech team, which is always developing, increasing as technology increases. We're always working in tech side of it to add new features and things to the platform. So endavomedia.com, and there's a free trial on, I believe it's the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, let's see. I can put the banners. Let's see if I can do a banner. I don't know how to do a banner. I'm going to make a comment. Let's see. Can I make a comment? I'm so bad at this. Okay. I'm not going to make a comment. It's endavomedia.com, ENDAVOMEDIA.com. I'm sure the team at Catalyst might put something in there. We'll figure it out. But go to endavomedia.com. Let them know that you saw them today on this amazing live channel with Catalyst Story Road and at the Aperture Insights thing, and they'll take care of you, especially because right now the lovely thing, like you mentioned, is that you can try Endavo free for 30 days, which means you have 30 days. You can get your own channel. You can see what it's like. You can see what the process would be like, and then really put it up there, which is great because I know a lot of times, like, you need help uploading all this stuff, and either our team can help you with that, or the Endavo team can help you with that. But we really try to make it easy for you guys to get the success that you want and take it into your own hands. But before we get going, is there any other things you want to mention about OTT or Endavo?
Well, I know we work together closely, and it's not always, for us pushing the services together, but really educating people, right? So even if you just get started with us and register for free trial, want to submit questions to us, you do that. I'm sure you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Jordan, you can always, if you have people come in, we're always happy to educate, jump on calls, answer emails, really just to help people learn more about the business and where it started and where it's going overall. So feel free to reach out with it, in any ways you can connect with us on social media as well. So we're happy to answer and educate and just take general questions as well, that just to give a suggestion. We aren't happy, we are always open to just having a general discussion too. At different platforms, we've got some blogs out there that you can get some more information from as well. And we're happy to provide those too.
Yeah, I will definitely say it's one of the main reasons I really liked working with you guys, is that there's always somebody on the other end to talk to about questions and concerns and like fears and stuff. I think that it's great to be able to talk to people that really want to educate you, because it's a crazy, crazy world out there, especially when it comes to technology and entertainment. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I think we'll just end early unless there's any other questions. But you can find out more about Aperture at aperture.tv. That's APERTEUR.tv. It's got a funny spelling on purpose. And you can find out more about the great things that we do, and also find out more about how we work with Endavo and how Endavo is a part of Aperture and all that great stuff. But please, guys, we want to empower you all to keep making content and putting your own content out there. There's lots of great resources, but yeah, I would definitely check out the Endavo site. Their blog section is insane. You can learn, you can get a crash course in OTT there. But thank you everybody for watching today, and we'll see you next time on Aperture Insights. And be sure to check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and sometimes YouTube, but definitely check out the Endavo team on all the platforms. Steven will answer your LinkedIn questions. I know this because I've messaged him on LinkedIn myself. I can vouch for that. But yeah, thank you everybody, and have a great rest of your week. And if you have any other questions, comment below or get a hold of Nikki, Jen, or Philip, and we will make sure to answer your questions. So thanks everybody. Do you have anything else?
I'm all done. Jordan, thank you for your time today. Everybody, pleasure talking with you. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you again, Jordan.
Thanks everybody for watching. Bye-bye.
Everybody have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.